I don't want to use the world grid because it does... The main source is the iron. But I want this normal limestone over here. We can grab this one. There's another one around the corner over here as well. And then we have the one over there. Then we got 2 more as well, just around the corner. So we'll just get one of these up right now. Oh, yeah. Spawn. I got limestone on me. I do. Right now, I am just going to quickly... just make some concrete. 45 per minute, which is going to be 1. Introducing this one over here with thing, that'll be 3. I'm going to put 3 down and then bring this over here. I need a chainsaw. What do you mean? I'm a spawn. I need this gone ASAP. I need to go make a chainsaw. I can't have that there. Wait, can I just... Oh, I could have just built it over there. Chainsaw activated. We've got any solid biofuel on me. I do not. I could do with actually getting a big because I'm about to jump out of power. $69. No. Let's just quickly throw you down here. Store all items. Actually. Let's get rid of you. Get rid of you. And you. And you. Take you out. Take you out. And basically take you out. Let's go and harvest. This is where we get rid of... I totally forgot they did that. Timber! Totally forgot they did that now. The chainsaw has had many, many reworks over the years. From how it looks to, I think, 4 or 5 different variants in sounds. Let's get it for the reason why I come over here, right? Get that out of there. We don't need... Let me up. We don't need it. Have they reduced the amount you get now? I feel like I should have got way more than that. It feels like it's been reduced. I'm pretty sure you could walk out of here in the past with a full inventory full. Either that or there's some scamming going on. That's maybe a bug. Because I feel like in the past, I've gone through there with a whole chainsaw and filled my whole entire inventory. Because obviously, when you play a game so much, you notice the small things when it changes, right? You know when there's a slight change in movement and whatnot, right? Really? Really? Right. Grab what I can grab. Continue working on this concrete. Watch party. Anyway, it's a little bit different when it's kind of like the game we're playing reacting to it. It's a little bit different, but because it's their own projects, it would be kind of nice to watch it. But then it's like taken away from their potential viewerships on the Twitch. When it was the coffee stain stuff, it was fine. But when it's their own personal channels and their own personal projects, I think it's a little bit awkward. Unless I get permission. But then, again, Wednesday, we're doing Grounded with Total. Actually, what time are we playing with Grounded with Total on Wednesday? What does it say in the pedia? So we know we'll be streaming daily, right? Even if it's just for 4 hours here, 8 hours there, 2 hours here, 4 hours there. There'll be a stream each day. Unless specified via Discord, or if there is no stream, it'll be, I'm off. Did you add voice actor into that banner? I will eventually, once it's out there. I can't add something in there when I feel like it's not there to back up the evidence of it. Oh yeah, we'll be streaming weekends as well. You got to remember, all the content I produce now for YouTube. I was telling this to my mother the other day. We went for food over the weekend. Went for a meal, and because I love live streaming, right? I love the live interaction. The good thing about live streaming is, with the new plan I've got in motion, where like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, like we can play games. Like I've always, well, in the past, sorry, I've always had to stream because I had to reach a goal within Satisfactory, right? Satisfactory was the main core of everything that was doing everything in regards to me, right? It was everything about it. So I went live to go on to stream so we can build progress towards our current video we was working on. I was enforcing, like, everything was evolving around Satisfactory, right? That's no longer the case anymore. The Twitch stream is around every bit of content now, because I felt a lot of the time I had to end the live stream to go and work on YouTube content. And I didn't have the tools back then to do that. If that makes sense. So, like, everything now is recorded live, and then I just basically edit down into videos. So, like, everything evolved around the one core, which was Satisfactory. So I was going live to make sure progress was getting built in it so I can get the video done for next Tuesday. And then I was rushing through old playthroughs because, again, I needed to get the video done. Everything was evolved around that, and it just didn't help at all. So where I can stream for as long as I want now, until I'm like, okay, I just want to end for today. Where before, I felt like I needed to end to go and work on YouTube stuff. So I was like, now that I'm kind of doing 2 birds, 1 stone, I don't have to do that anymore. You know? It is very, very hard to balance Twitch and YouTube. To balance them both. And I feel like I've got the common ground now. We have found the middle ground. Black player watches just better. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that will come across in the games we play as well. Otherwise, if I would have started this brand new save months ago, I would have been already on call and probably done call by now. I'm looking forward to this playthrough because I'm going to enjoy the time with the game and not felt like I was rushing like the other playthroughs. Because, like, some people ask when I did the YouTube video, why, as a content creator that does this full time, why are you not worried about the views on YouTube? And for me, it's not about, like, my main core of income is Twitch, right? Is Twitch. And YouTube is, again, I don't see it for the views. I see it for the enjoyment. When I first started out, I wanted to get the views. Where now, when you get, I won't say older, but once you start learning how the whole system works in regards to YouTube and Twitch and content creation, you want to enjoy it more than forcing it. And doing that allows you to be more real when it comes to content creation. It allows you to be, it puts you on the same level as everybody. The content creators are not higher than any viewer, right? Or on another level. And just being just genuine in regards to stuff makes the content more relatable to people. Same as the last time. Is that the lack of the stress from the last time? You know something? YouTube, you just have to enjoy it. Like, the amount of imposter syndrome and anxiety when everyone starts doing content first. You just got to do it. You just got to enjoy it and do it and just release videos. Your videos will be terrible. They will be terrible. But you learn and you get better. Be-bop-boop. A bibbidi-boppity-boop. We good? Let's go and power this puppy. Oh, the latest rimming videos out? Hell yes. Do you know something? It goes to show that things are like, we're releasing 2 YouTube videos a day plus streams. Crazy. I would never in a bloody million years thought I'd be able to do that. And to be fair, if you've watched the latest RimWorld video, like the first one, you can't tell that was recorded live. You just can't. Because I cut all out the chatting bits and stuff. It's going to be harder with Satisfactory, 100%. But I'm going to be leaving a lot of the chat interaction because, like, what I'm going to do is, like, with the questions that you guys ask in regards to why did you build it like this, it then also explains it to people who are watching the YouTube video, right? So it's kind of like a Q&A whilst playing the game. Why do you do your pipes like that? And then I give you the reason why. You know? So on and so forth. And then all of them answers get made into shorts as well. We now have power to... Oh, I didn't set the concrete. Okay. We also have more limestone over there, which I don't need to worry about now. I'm going to get these screws up and running. Wait, what's this storage here for? Was this to empty... to get this built? It was, wasn't it? Okay. Let's get you... and let's take this up to this second layer here. Let's keep the grid. And then we'll get this screws built. Once I get the coupons, we won't need to worry about all this. Just remember, if you're a YouTube member or a Twitch sub, you'll be able to watch the past broadcast immediately. If not, you'll have to wait for the videos to either release from that said live stream or the whole VOD to go public after the videos have been created from that video, from that live stream. Boop. I think that's pretty... I think that might be the perfect height, you know. Using alternate recipes to create a bigger output is the way to go. I don't use alternate recipes because a certain ore is nearby. I don't normally build like that. I usually build for maximum items. There's 2 ways of going about it, right? You go for maximum items from said recipes, or you use it for as a convenience. Oh, I've already got some additional miners. I didn't realize. Right, let's get production. Boom. In fact, oh no, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. So I am going to need a smelter from you. To go to... Should I just take it over there? What I'm finding weird right now is... Oh, yeah, you're being an asshole, aren't you? Yeah, of course you are. Oh, of course you are. I don't have tools to line this up to the foundation as well. We are going to go with this splitter here. We can fix it from there, but because it was so close, we can't do it. And now we can do it from here. In fact, you're going to get pushed that way, aren't you? Because obviously we're going to be making rods, then the rods into screws. Of course. Connect you to there. You to there. And then we're going to go from left to right. So if we was to put a constructor here. Well, but to be fair, we are going to need a splitter. Let's say, let's just throw you there. Obviously, you're going to have the same. Then we get a constructor. Okay, then place you here. Place you there. Another one there. Oh, I need the rips bits. I need the rips. And I don't know if I'm going to release the save from that file. Since all the weird people who do weird stuff with the saves. 'Cause I saw somebody doing a YouTube series on Satisfactory. And they was using my past broadcasts and using a lot of the footage from them on top of their recording of the them playing, and then using my old save. Does that make sense? To make it look like they built it. Weird. These are both impure, right? They are. I need to merge these together. Like, I don't mind, like, I've had it in the past where, like, there's some random TikTok channels using my clips. I don't mind that. As long as just credit. It's just the right thing to do instead of trying to claim it as your own. I don't mind. So, like, I don't mind if anyone goes through all my stuff right now and goes to TikTok and starts making all of it and starts making an income from my clips. I don't care about that as long as you just credit who it is. Just be a human being. Uh, 30. I need to do 3 to every one of these, right? So I need to go from here to then a splitter. To a splitter. Well, hello there. Any tips for making builds look nice? I struggle with the design side. Just take your time with it. Science. Build something. Don't be afraid to delete it. Don't just think about what you want to do and try to make it perfect the first time. What you should always do is just build the natural foundation first. Then put your building, your machines down, and then start working around them, right? Start working around them. Just kind of do that. And then once you start learning all of that stuff, you kind of start figuring out the natural spaces for machines and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, you can just keep advancing on top of that. Yeah, don't sit there for an hour and, like, go, oh, okay, I want to do it exactly like this. I want this angled beam to go here. I want a machine to go into there. It'll never work. It will if you spent hours and hours and hours and hours and it was doing it. But the best thing to do is just build and let the building naturally form around your machines and then design off that. Don't be afraid to use foundations as walls and design aesthetics and all that stuff. Alright, so this is for all my... Nope. For all my screws. Obviously, we are going to use alternate recipes to eliminate screws at some point. But when we do that, who knows? Who knows? Okay, so I now have you coming into here. That's going to be 30 coming down here, right? 30 coming down here, 30 being split up into these two, which require 15 per minute, 15 output, 15 output. Merging together here is going to be 30. 30 come down here, gets wanted into 10. And then 10, 10, and 10. That's going to be making 120 screws per minute. That's going to be 240 altogether across this whole route. But we are going to need Mark II belts to obviously support the capacity of these three merged together. If not, we're just going to have to do individual ones coming out of here. We're not going to do that, though. We are just going to prepare these for straight 120 belts. And then we can send these where we need to send them, which is more than likely going to be reinforced plates, rotors, smart plating, for all that stuff, you know. Well, screws aren't needed for smart plating, but you know what I mean. So, I'm going to do it here. Let's bring the merger here. Boop. Boop. Need another one here to come towards me. And then we'll do the same this way. Boop. Boop. And then from here, we can just go with organization, storage container, bada bing, bada bosh. Like that. So, this belt here, and this belt, we need to get upgraded to 120. Same with this one and this one. And then from here, everything's good. We just now need to get the power lines connected up. So we can start getting all this turned on. So I'm going to have this one connect to both of these miners, but I'm also going to have this connecting to the power grid, which I could in fact just send that way. Oh! And we'll take it from the copper line. And then from here, I'm going to put you there. You can power the smelters. Then from you to you. Oh. Oh. You can go there. You can go there. You're going to connect to that one. You're going to connect to that one. Boop. Do there. You're going to come straight through. You're going to come here. I'm going to do the same thing again. Go from there to there. Take this across to here. You're going to power them too. Go from here. Boom. Connect you to that. That should be good to go. Let's make sure our recipes are good. So we should have rods. Rods. Hey, yes, Ian. Hello. And we got rods here. Rods. These should all be set to screws, which they're set to rods because I copied and pasted the machine. Just paste all of these down here. And then we can turn this puppy on. That's going to get connected. Obviously, these are impure, so these are going to merge together to make 60 per minute going that way, so 30 being sent to each smelter. They didn't need to merge to go in. They could just go straight to one into a smelter, but I need you to connect from you to you. And did I not set the recipe for you? I'm guessing not. Okay. Nice. Basic materials up and running. So now we've got 20 plates. We got 24 to 60, 80 plates per minute being made right now. 60 rods per minute. Screws 240, but obviously not being stored at them exact rate. Oh, Bitz. Hello. You forgot to do them. So technically it would have been 0 screws per minute. Because spawn things. But there we go. Nice. And then we should start seeing the screws come through. Hell yes. Screws. How much power am I making right now? From 8 biomass generators. Boop. Okay. Boom. Right, let's get an objective done. Because now we've got near enough everything going. We just need the reinforced plates to be automated. We've done everything in the port assembly. We can get this done now. So we can unlock the assemblers. Jump pads require rotors. You require not. We just need more 2 required reinforced plates. So we can kind of go through port assembly and resource sync program. Let's get that Let's get the resource sink down also. Then let's go and get some hard drives and grab some items for any hard drives. Let's also build... I'm going to need to potentially get some more leaves and stuffs. Actually, maybe wood's kind of still stacked. Actually, no, I think we could be good. Your fault. Your fault. 156. 37. Still quite a bit of wood in there. Oakley dorkly. Let's go and store these items. Hi there, I'm new to this game. Are you able to explain how to balance belts? Because I have no idea. Of course. Let's take you over to here. Welcome to my playground. So you're going to have things called splitters, mergers. You're going to have splitters and mergers. So splitters, mergers. They have two different properties, right? Splitters have one input. So they have, let's change it to orange, in fact. They have one input with 3 outputs. Mergers have 3 inputs. Oh, 3 inputs and 1 output. Right? This allows you to then put 1 belt in to split it 3 ways. So if you was to put down a belt here that had 60 items per minute on it, 20 will go that way, 20 will go that way, 20 will go that way. Mergers, however, if you had these 20 coming together, if you had 20 items down here, 20 items here, 20 items here, this will turn into 60 items on the output. So, with knowing this knowledge of what splitters and mergers do, you can then start combining all of this, right? So, let's say you had a splitter here, and you needed to make 10 items, right? You had 60 items coming down here. This is a Mark 1 belt. So let's just put Mark 1 belt here. Mark 1 belt. This is going into this splitter. S for splitter. You are then want to get 10 items from this. So let's say this machine up here wants 10 items. You're then going to want to put a splitter. This is going to send 20 this way, 20 this way, 20 this way. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? If you was, every time you put 1 belt down here, it halves what it's going to be doing. So it changes the multiplication of this. So if I was just to put 1 belt here and no other belts out of these, this will still be 60. If I then put a belt here, this will then turn to a 30. This will turn to a 30. This one is not being used, right? So let's say all of these are being used, like so. And this is now a 20, 20, and 20, right? You're then going to put down another splitter. This will then go into here. And then you're going to put a belt here. So this will be 10. And then this one will be 10. Right? You can then send this... Oh, I did not want to make an arrow. You can then send this to this building where you wanted it to go. Right? But then, if you wanted to, you could put a merger here. Or, in fact, you could put a merger here. Which could input this 20 into here. You could send this 20 here. You can send this 10 here. To then make a 50. Does that make sense to you? I don't want to sound like it's a little bit crazy. But that's how you would balance lines. You use splitters and mergers. And that's just your basic. For a more an advanced thing, you've got something called smart splitters. And you've got priority mergers now as well. Which allows you to micromanage your splitters and mergers a bit more. With smart splitters, it allows you to choose an item you want to go down a specific belt, right? So let's say you've got a belt coming down here and it's got plates on it. It's got rods on it. You can designate, okay, from this output, I want plates to go this way. I want rods to go this way, right? So that will then come into here, and then your plates will go along this way. Your rods will go this way, right? If this backs up, it will back up all the way back to this machine. This is why you always need an entrance, or an exit, sorry. That is an overflow. this will send any excess items down here. Or you could put this back here, but it will still block up here with a sink. I always recommend going forward. And then you put a resource sink here. Resource sink. And that will just trash any items. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Boop. But use splitters, mergers. Okay, I'm guessing you can then use that to make efficient production lines for a smelter to constructor, etc. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I can show you this. So if I go into here, you can see this miner is outputting 60 per minute. This is then coming down here. These smelters, because they require 30 per minute for iron, you need to put a splitter here, which is what this is doing. And this is splitting this 60 into 2 lines. So 30 is going that way, 30 is going this way. These are then receiving the correct input. 30 output is going this way. The 30, because we are making iron rods, only require 15. So then you split it down again. So 30 output, split that down, that's 15 going that way, 15 going that way. That is then 100% efficient on this line. Look at this number right here. This will tell you your inefficiency. And whatnot. So there's 2 things in this game. You have something called manifolds. You have something called load balancing, right? The 2 totally different separate things. Manifolds is the simplest way if you have the correct numbers. So let's say you have 120 items, right? And you're going to have, you need 4 machines that are going to require 30 each, right? So you have got a constructor here, constructor here, constructor here, constructor, right? So this C is for constructor. 120 items going down a Mark II belt. It'll go into a splitter here. This is a splitter. And it's going to send items into that machine, items into that machine. It'll then come down here again, go into another splitter, items into that machine, items into that machine. Each of these machines require 30. So in total, all of that is going to equal 120, right? But the way this would work is, as you can probably tell, 120, when it goes into here, it's going to get split 3 ways. These machines will fill up first. That's how a manifold works. Right? So this will fill up, these will fill up. Once these machines fill up, it will then push onto these 2. If it keep, and so as you can kind of expect, you can expand onto this. So if you're on a pure node can expand all the way to the end game, right? Because you can put down a miner, you can put a Mark II miner, you can upgrade that. You can upgrade the belts and so on. With load balancing is a totally different monster, right? Load balancing is a way where 120 items again are coming down here, but this time you are going to send these to the exact location so they enter the machines at the same time, right? There's multiple ways of kind of doing this. You've got like a semi-load balance, but then you've got a normal load balance. So to load balance correctly into 4 machines, you're going to have 4 constructors, like so. These are all constructors. And then you're going to have the 120, which is going to come down here into a splitter here, right? And then it's going to go into a splitter here, like this. So 120 goes into here, 60 goes that way, 60 goes that way, 30 goes that way, 30 goes that way. That's how you kind of do load balancing. So you're kind of just using the splitters to half numbers all the time into other splitters, and then using mergers. That's how you do all that. The easiest method to do is this one as a beginner. Kind of looks like a face, doesn't it? With like multiple eyes. This is the easiest way to do things, and this is what most people do. But this is another method. The problem with this is when you get to 3.12 items, this is where you'll have problems later down the line. Yeah, that's an easy amount, but like when it starts getting a little bit more crazy with decimal places and trying to load balance fully efficiently. But doing this, there is 2 benefits to this, right? there is two benefits to this. These will still give you the same exact outputs. The only thing is that all of these machines will boot up at the same time. With these will boot up individually, and so on. So these will take time for the end machines over here to light up green to be active. So the longer the manifold, the longer the end of the line is going to take to boot up, right? So that's the benefits. There's two ways of playing: manifold, load balancing. You could use a mixture of both of these through your playthrough, but do what you're more comfortable with. There is a gaming, there's a challenge for like players who like to do it, is a full playthrough we only load balance. And that can get stressful. Because when it comes to load balancing, you could start underclocking, overclocking to give you exact numbers and all that kind of stuff to help you and assist you through that whole entire. We won't even talk about head lift yet, because so many people overcomplicate it. And I've seen some recent YouTube videos overcomplicating it as well, about why the end of the machines aren't taking it. But we'll talk about that when we get to water, because it's so simple. It's just that everyone overcomplicates it. My favorite topic, 100%. Because so many people are like, oh, but it sloshes and all this kind of stuff. Originally, I was one of them people. Like you don't. It's so simple once you realize what the problem is. Load balance into manifold. Yeah, it's true. But we just keep it simple. I felt like that was a bit too much information for new people when I spoke then. The next story game we're going to be playing on stream after Horizon, the Alan Wake, the first one, and then the second one. Or do we go Death Stranding and then Death Stranding 2? And then once we do RimWorld, we'll then move on to something else. Did I emptied my fuel. I emptied my fuel. Plus we got Borderlands coming up. Borderlands will be something we'll be playing on stream. I feel like when it's full-on dedicated story, like with the expedition stuff and all that kind of stuff, I feel like that needs my full and divided attention. Whereas open world games where we can kind of chat and stuff whilst I'm going from A to B is good for stream, because then we can talk, you know. But like, we're still going to be playing everything. It just depends on what we're doing at the time. Like, I really, really, really want to play Oxygen Not Included, but the backseating in that is flipping ridiculous. Ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. Even though we had, like, saying people not doing it, it was just nuts. Like, I don't mind backseating, but when it's like, that was the worst game that I ever got backseated. Just building around the machine. So I always work outwards. So I always put the foundation down for like the flooring. And then build the machines. And then from there, I look at how am I going to traverse around them via walkways or like walkway paths and like where I'm going to walk. And then I'll start putting the door down, which then gives me an indication of where the entrance might be. Or rooms to add on to, right? And then from there, I will start looking at like, okay, if this is where I'm walking, I know where to put the windows. And then I'll start doing that. And I'll just put like straight into a box. Once I've kind of got that outline, I can then start looking at making like a, I don't know, either depending on part of the game you're at, is looking at the scaffolding, if not jetpack, if not hoverpack. And then just building outside. Always have your lights following your pathways. That's obviously a no-brainer. And then start figuring out how you want your machines to be lit. You know, and when you're doing your outside walls or even just like internal walls, think of a depth perspective. You know, don't think like, oh, I'm just going to put a wall here and then I'm just going to put a window, wall, window, wall. Use foundations as walls and then use your walls to decorate them, and then start using like beams and pillars to start creating just some more depth to the walls. Maybe add some pipes for decoration and all that stuff, right? Signs, of course. Signs for lights. all that stuff. Any plans for a new save? No, I don't think so. We'll see. I might start one tomorrow. We should be kind of good. That's not going to get me to what's it called? To I could easily rush through now, but I don't need to. Oh, let me get my items back, in fact, and dump this stuff away. Yeah, we will need to add a few more machines before we even get all that stuff built. Did I add everything from there today? That's definitely one of them. You run in the gas, didn't you, Bean? You run in the gas. It is time to end this stream. So I appreciate all your love and support today. You guys went a little sicko mode. You went crazy. So thank you so much for all the gifted subs, people following, people liking the stream over on YouTube. Obviously, this VOD will be available to catch up straight afterwards if you're a YouTube member and Twitch subscriber. Once the video has had all the footage ripped out of it and put into individual videos or one big long video, we'll see what happens with it. I will then release it to everybody so you can catch up and whatnot. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being awesome, as always.